Hello guys. So in this video we will learn control statements. That is, given a set of statements, how can we control the flow of execution using some conditions, based on some condition controlling the flow of your executions. So you have to now consider that you have some set of statements, okay, and you have example 10 statements, and couple of statements must be executed only based on some condition or some values that has to be satisfying the conditions. So in that cases we use control statements. So we have multiple control statements in Python. So the first one is if, and then we have else, we have if else, which is nothing but written as elif in Python. Okay, so these are some of the keywords that we use in order to create multiple control statements. So we'll look at all of this one by one. So there are multiple control statements. Simple if, then followed by we have if else, and then we have if else if, alternative with some condition. So these are the three examples that we'll be seeing in control statement. So in simple if, how it works is it's very simple. So let me give an example. So my mom asked me to go to the shop and get a dozen egg. Okay, right? So if I take this English phrase as an example, you can see she asked me to go to a shop and get a dozen egg. So here the condition is dozen egg. That is, if this condition is available, or she, the best way is she will rephrase this and she'll tell me if eggs are available, then get a dozen. Okay, so this is example statement what she will tell me. Okay, so what from this we imply from if, she gives me a condition. What is the condition she gives me? Eggs are available, right? Now if this condition, why do we say this is a condition? Because the outcome or result of this is either yes or no, like true or false, right? And what is the action to perform if this is true? That is, if eggs are available, what is the action to perform? Get a dozen, right? Same way in programming. So let me give an example. I have a is equals to 5 and b is equals to 7. So if followed by a condition, I will give condition if a is greater than b. Okay, so with that, then I give colon and indent, and then I give an action to perform. So what is the action it should perform? A is greater. So this is what it should print. So now if you see, if I execute this, it is not printing anything. The reason is this condition is false. That is, a is 6 and b is 7. So let me reverse this and then rerun again. So now you see it checks this condition. If, so I tell my program that if a is lesser than b, then only you perform this. What to perform? That is nothing but print a is greater. So this is very simple example for your simple if. So same program, let us consider if you are writing a program to check if the number is greater than 0 or not. So given number here, let me get the input from the user. So I'll say get the input and I'll say user enter a number. Okay, so the user enters this number, then I'll say if num is greater than 0, then print hey, the number is greater than 0. So now if I run this program, it prompts the user to enter the number. So if I print 5, or if I give 5 and hit enter, so since this condition is true, number is greater than 0, it performs this. What is it? It says that hey, the number is greater than 0, so it's going to print that. So this is example of your simple if, where you have one if followed by a condition, and for that condition you have set of action. Now what if example, if we go here back and if we check here, if eggs are available, then get a dozen. In this case, what if eggs are not available in the shop? Then what happens? You won't get this you won't get egg, but you do not have an alternative, right? So then what happens? Your mother, she rephrases this and she says get, if eggs are available, get a dozen, else get Maggie, something like this, right? So here what happens? You have an alternative. What is that alternative given for? If the condition is false. So if the condition is false, then we have another alternative, that is here get a Maggie, right? So same way in programming, I have if followed by some condition, and then I have this print statement, that is set of action. What if I enter a number which is lesser than 0? So I do not have alternative for that, right? So in that case, what we do, we add an alternative. So to add alternative, like here we use the else keyword, so here also we will use the keyword else. So I'll say else and then followed by print, hey, the number is lesser than 0, something like this. So now what happens, it's complete. You have some actions if it is true, you have some actions if it is false. So given a false statement, it goes down and it does the alternative part. Now why we do not give condition, say for example num lesser than 0, why don't we give the reverse condition of this? It is because here you have simple two statements. If condition, if it is true, it is going to perform this. So you no need to write the false version of this condition here. Like you don't phrase it, right? If eggs are available, then get a dozen, else if eggs are not available, get Maggie. Why you don't phrase it like that? Because it's too obvious that if this is false, it's coming here. It's just like tossing a coin. So if this is the head part, so when you're coming here, it is obvious, you know that I've got the tails part, right? Same way it is here. That is why in any programming language we don't give any condition with the final else. That is because it is obvious that this is the last part which has to be, this is the alternative which has to be executed. So this is the example else if. Now what if you have to add multiple conditions? So to add multiple condition, you can use else if, that is we use elif in Python. So consider we are writing a program, okay, to check if the number is either 10, 20, 30 or 40, something like that. Okay, so how do we do it? So first we'll get the input from the user, and then I'll say if my number is equal to 10, then I'm going to print here gotcha, something like that, right? Now I need to check even if it is 20. So there what I will do, I will use elif, where I'll say else if my number is equal to 20, you have to perform this, that is action is buy, something like that. And then finally I will say else, that is if my number is not even 10, not even 20, then print coming back soon, right? So now if I run this, if I give 10, it is going to print gotcha because this condition is true. Now if I print 20, so you see it prints by because this condition is true. And if I print some another number which is not there in my condition, it is going to obviously go to the final alternative block and get it printed. Now it's very important, okay, it's very important to know that here if I'll give 30 and I'll say here something here. Now once a condition is true, okay, once a condition is true and once it performs its action, that is printing the set of statements, then your compiler does not execute or even checks the remaining condition or alternative. It directly jumps out. So here if I give 10, so this condition is true, that is num is equal to 10. After that it performs the action, that is printing the word gotcha here, right? Now after that it does not even care or bothers to execute this. Why? Because this condition is true. Now if same sentence, let me rephrase this, where she'll say if else if Maggie is available, get Maggie, else if you can say potato are available, then get 1 kilo, something like that, right? And then you can say or else come back home. So in this case what happens, you see in this alternative, if eggs are available, you will get a dozen, right? You won't go and check if Maggie is also available in the shop. Why? Because here itself the condition is true. So if this eggs are available, you will get a else. You won't even ask the shopkeeper if Maggie and potatoes or something else is available. But if eggs are not available, then you will go for the next condition, checking for Maggie. But if Maggie is available, you will get a Maggie. Then further you won't check the condition, right? Same way it is going to work exactly same in your programming. Once a condition is true, it prints the action. After that it is going to ignore the remaining condition. So this is how your control statement works in Python.